Hi, my name is Monica Swan Giles, Technology for School Leaders, Instructor Dr. Longing. My project is about e-newsletters. What are e-newsletters? E-newsletter is an effective form of direct mail sent by an organization on a regular or semi-regular basis to maintain contact. In the Innovative School Leaders Guide to Social Media on page 6, Dr. Dixon defined e-newsletters as a cost-effective way to regularly communicate school events and news with parents, community members, and donors. Importance of an e-newsletter. You can keep in touch with parents with positive contacts, keep in touch with fellow educators. You can inform and educate parents, fellow educators, community members. You can reinforce learning activities, publicize upcoming events, attract volunteers to come in and maybe speak with your class on certain topics, or volunteer in your classroom with different parties, events, experiments. You may also highlight student accomplishments and document activities and events. How e-newsletters can improve student learning. Simply don't stress. Let them help. For pre-K through middle school classrooms, the newsletters at this stage, the emails that a teacher is sending out will be targeted at the parents of the students. But you can still let them help by talking to them about important topics to them and including them in the newsletters, such as students who were accepted into GT, or some of the students may have dance recitals, football games, or who won the spelling bee. The topics discussed in the e-newsletter could include a variety of classroom and school-related topics, from homework assignments to school projects, field trips, and school plays. The personal email from the teacher to the parent will help to keep the parent aware of what is happening in their child's classroom. For high school students, this is fairly easy because at this age, most of the students will be very familiar with email and will likely have their own personal emails. With students' ability to receive emails and parents that are still active in their child's education, an email newsletter is a great way to communicate with the teacher, student, or even both of them together. Let the high school student be involved in the newsletter. They can tell how they won the quiz bowl, or what questions were in the quiz bowl, who made cheerleader, how nervous they were, and how happy they are, who made honor society. Even those who got a full paid scholarship would be proud to help with the newsletter. Are we ready for e-newsletters? It's the digital life. In the past, there were telephone calls, handwritten notes, letters through the U.S. mail, parent-teacher conferences, newspaper articles, and radio announcements. Those were ways of communication between the parent and the teacher or the school district. Now it's the digital life, so we must get ready to live in the digital life. Advantages and disadvantages of e-newsletters. The pros are it can be free to set up your own e-newsletter and distribute it to thousands of people. There are free templates that can make your newsletter look visually stunning. The HTML click-through can bring people from emails into your website to a page of your choosing. You can also tell who reads your newsletter and clicks through, and you can tell who is not reading your newsletters. Some cons are they're easy to delete if a person is too busy, and tempting to overload a newsletter with far too much information. You can also lose subscribers with the click of a button. People who check email on their phone might not be able to read your newsletter. And the last one is e-newsletters can be easy to produce, and yours can be lost in the noise of everyone else's. How to create an email newsletter. The 3Ds are great: designing, distributing, and documenting. We're going to talk about designing an e-newsletter. Readers like interesting topics, short articles, attractive graphics, easy to skim designs, bulleted lists, clear organization, and calendars. Readers do not like intimidating pages, disorganized information, long continuing articles, irrelevant content, impersonal tone, chaotic page design, or too many pages. When you're thinking about a title for your news e-letter, the name or title will greatly influence the appearance of your newsletter. Try to select a title with strong symbolic value that will convey some idea of the content to be targeted. Important designing tips. Limit the number of fonts you use in a publication to 2. Use one font for heading and one for the text. If you are unsure, choose a common text such as Times New Roman. Types of graphics that you can use will be clip art, photos, scanned images, graphic accents, logos, charts, graphs, tables, and maps. Now, you must set your goals and know your readers. So, who is the audience? Parents, faculty, staff, and students are going to be reading it too, but don't lose sight of who your primary audience is. As far as goals, what should the newsletter accomplish? Parents to contact teachers to set up meetings, greater attendance at parent-teacher conferences, share school information with their friends and within the community. Whatever your goals, getting your audience to read it is your number one job, and sharing the newsletter or the contents within the newsletter is your second job. You must make it mobile friendly. 48% of all emails are opened on a mobile device. If your newsletter isn't mobile friendly, you're likely losing nearly half of your audience. Your newsletter shouldn't be a PDF that's in the email as an attachment. A lot of mobile devices aren't able to open PDF files. You must personalize your email. A great best practice is to send the newsletter from an individual's email address. Don't make it from an organizational email, but rather from a trusted teacher, administrator, or other faculty member. The next tip is to measure your performance. The goal should be to increase your newsletter's performance over time. To do that, you'll need to track some important measurements. You should track the newsletter's open rate. It will tell you how often your newsletter is being opened and read. It'll also tell you if people are clicking through any links in the newsletter. Do more people read the newsletter when it features specific topics such as sports, music, etc.? You should create a content calendar. A content calendar is a planning tool that allows you to chart out your newsletter content well in advance. You should keep some of the elements consistent in every issue. Maybe each issue should include a class spotlight, a feature on a faculty member or a student, or a sports update. Here you'll see an example of my content calendar. This content calendar is part of my literacy block, but I also have one for my math block. And on this content calendar, it will tell you what we will be doing each week, what skills we will be covering, and then I'll also highlight a student of the week or a student of the month and highlight different accomplishments of my students. Encourage social sharing. Put social sharing buttons in the newsletter, both at the top of the newsletter and in the individual content pieces. People are more likely to share if they can simply hit a Facebook or a Twitter button. Create a web-based version of your newsletter along with your email version. That gives people who aren't on your email list the opportunity to view and share your newsletter content. Make sure to promote your own content on social media. Do it with an open-ended question that encourages your audience to open the link to get to the answer. Distribute your newsletter. The cost is free. Email a link of your newsletter to the following groups of people: parents, superintendent and school board members, district employees, business and industries in the community or surrounding areas, friends and or potential friends. Just send it to everybody you know. Permission to use a student's name and photo is a must. You must have documentation. Most school districts will have parents or guardians sign a form to give permission. A look at my e-newsletter. Here's a copy or an example of my newsletter. I send it out monthly, and in the gold box, I list the different skills that we will cover for the month. In the purple box to the right are highlights such as days we'll be out of school, parent teacher conference, and students' birthdays. The bottom box are just simple reminders to the parents of how to send back homework and their daily folder and what should be in the daily folder. And this is my bibliography page. Thank you.